We're going to be talking a little bit about when discipleship as a process finishes. And we're going to talk about Moses, Joshua and Caleb. I remember an old guy talking to a bunch of youth workers. His name was Torrey Johnson. And he was one of the guys who started Youth for Christ along with Billy Graham. He said, discipleship starts at conception. Now that is a huge statement for a number of reasons, but it's the start of the journey for all of us. And what was he getting at? When does the process of growth and change start and stop? Logically, from the concept that Torrey Johnson talked about, if it starts at conception, it continues right through life and probably on into eternity. The thing to remember is God uses us wherever, whenever and however, and age doesn't matter. Listen to 1 Timothy 4 verse 12. Let no one despise you for your youth, but set the believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith and in purity. Yep, I know God wants to use young people. I've seen young people do amazing things for God over the 38 years that I've been involved in ministry. Yet God also wants to use older and more mature people as well. When we look at someone like Moses, he was about 40 when he ran away from Egypt, and about 80 when he went back to Egypt as God's leader person, and he died about 120 years old. And that's old for a leader. Well, perhaps, but when God gives a job, he gives you the resources. In this case, he gave Moses years to do it. In Deuteronomy 34:6, it says, Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye was undimmed and his vigor unabated. Wow. And what about this guy, Caleb? He was 85 and he claims an inheritance that Moses had promised. To get the inheritance, though, he had to invade and take the cities, Hebron in particular. 85 years old, for goodness sake. Joshua 15 says, according to the commandment of the Lord to Joshua, he gave to Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, a portion among the people of Judah, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron. Arba was the father of Anak. And Caleb drove out from there 3 sons of Anak, Jeshua, Ahiman, and Talmai, the descendants of Anak. Wow. Oh, what about Joshua himself? Joshua was about 40 when he was a spy and went into Canaan. And then he was Moses' second in charge for about 40 years. So when he takes over as leader, he's 80 years old. And he leads a nation of 2 million nomads to take and settle in an area where there are a whole heap of different nations. And it took years, but he kept on. Let's listen to from Joshua chapter 1. No man shall be able to stand before you all the days of your life. Just as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not leave you nor forsake you. Be strong and courageous, for you shall cause this people to inherit the land that I swore to their fathers to give them. There's a really big point here for us all to take notice of. Just as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. That's huge. And it is the resource we need right through our journey, God with us. Whether it's young people, adults, parents, leaders, seniors, retirees. God is with us to do whatever ministry he wants us to do. But just let me finish off with this verse. Romans 8:31. What then shall we say to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? It's not age that matters. It's the presence of God in our lives. Take that into this week. Bless you.